Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for joining Wonder Repeat. We have Katie Abraham on here and also Lisa Addington. They're going to discuss the 2022 Rebelle Rally. But first, let's look at the intro. Hello, ladies. We were nearly late because we were just chatting away.
Hello.
Right? I'm getting to know them, and so I'm just sitting here learning all the things, and I'm like, oh, we're going to just keep having this conversation and not going to hit go live. So I better stop.
That's part of it.
Yes.
Makes it fun.
Alrighty, so let's see. We have Katie and Lisa. Who are you? What are you doing?
Hey.
Hello.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's a big question.
We're going crazy is what we're doing.
Right now. Well, we're just sitting in our jammies.
We're living our usual lives while trying to hopefully one day just strictly wheel all the time, all day, every day.
Yep.
So you drive your own vehicles, and so you're wanting to do the 2022 Rebelle Rally. And tell us a little bit about yourself, Katie. How long have you been wheeling? What kind of vehicle do you drive? Tell me all the things.
Okay. So
No pressure.
I started younger, actually, in Land Rovers with my dad, but we just did, state parks, some gravel roads, things like that. And then about 6 years ago, really got heavy into crawling and overlanding. And that's really the catalyst that got me back into it. So I drive a 2005 4Runner that's mostly now my overlanding vehicle. And then I have a 1985 Toyota pickup that's cropped into a truggy with a cage and all that. And then I tow it.
Let's just take a look at that beauty. I mean, come on.
Right?
She's a beast.
Teach me how to truggy.
She's great. It's 4 lanes in the rear. That's the 4Runner.
Yeah, this is
you
sent me so many pictures of some amazing and dare I say badass skills that you have going on. You are climbing all these things.
Yeah. And so that 4Runner's gone to places that it really shouldn't have been, but it did it. It's geared low and has air lockers and all that. So good tires, good gears, and you can do it.
So you recently got back into off-roading just because of the whole overlanding scene, but you're a pretty hardcore wheeler.
Yeah, I like the adrenaline rush, but also the challenge. It's not something that just anybody can deal.
I'll throw that up there for the adrenaline rush.
Right.
Tell us what happened here.
Well, so that obstacle is one of those pictures where it just doesn't do it justice. It's large. I tried going up the middle and the right side first, and I couldn't make it with my differential clearance and my bumper clearance. So I went up the left side, made it about halfway up, and then that truggy is only about 3,200 pounds. So when you get some torque and speed going, it starts to bounce. It's also a manual. So when I went to put in the clutch and stop it, I didn't do it soon enough. And so the right tire fell into a hole and I just kind of flopped. So,
yeah. Just going to take a little nap right here.
It was
take a rest.
Luckily, it's a Toyota, so we just let it sit for a little bit and it fired back up. We didn't have to pull any spark plugs or anything, which is good because we didn't have the right socket to do it anyway. So if
I know all about that.
Yeah.
Gotta carry those tools, girl. You never know.
I know. We had the right size socket, but we needed long sockets. So carry
we were on top of Pritchett and Matt needed a socket, the star socket, I think is what it's called. I may be totally wrong, but and because we couldn't get the tire piece off because he had broke his center hub in there, and so it was just one of those little pieces, just a little thing that you need to get everything into. So Lisa, what about you? How long have you been doing this?
3 years.
What kind of vehicle do you drive? I guess I got some pictures I can throw up of yours.
I have an 18 JLU Sport. No
Look at
lockers.
That sexy beast.
Yeah, I know, and she's pretty. I love her.
Is. I love that color.
Thank you. That's my pumpkin orange. Yeah, that's my baby. I have 35s. I've got a 2.5-inch lift. I recently purchased a skid plate, which I'm putting on tomorrow night. So since I'm going to S'more the day after Thanksgiving, add some protection. That's me there. And I like to wheel as much as I possibly can.
Yeah, you're going to S'more this weekend. Like your husband's not going. You're going with another club, I guess,
group.
Right?
Yep. Our club. Yep.
Yeah. So where are you both located?
I'm in Blue Springs, which is the east side of Kansas City.
Okay.
And Katie, you're what? Shawnee on the
west
side?
West side.
Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. So that's pretty spread out. How did y'all meet? We
met at K-Rocks at the Sunflower event for women 3 years ago. It was the first day I ever wheeled.
3 years?
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it the first day you ever wheeled?
Yes.
God,
You've never, was it, so that's the women's like off-roading, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I drove my husband's Jeep.
Girlfriend had told me I want to go to that so much. It sounds amazing.
It is amazing. It is amazing.
And
it's all about empowering women.
Yeah. And Kansas Rocks is not, fire access roads. It's an off-road park that is made for, all levels of vehicle, but really it's rock crawling. So for someone to go there and start off brand new is not an easy thing, especially with people that you don't necessarily know.
Yeah. That would be me.
Yeah. Like, hi, I trust you with my life. Lead me.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that year I was in charge of the trail bosses. And really what we did was just set up as many new drivers as we could with someone that knew what they were doing, didn't necessarily know the trails at K-Rocks is the best thing, but would be able to send them in the right direction to be safe. And that's when I met Lisa. And from there, we just connected ongoing over the past 3 years now through different events and found a common soul in each other, I guess. Yeah. And really, Lisa is a natural wheeling talent. And you are. You picked
I'm just sitting back in awe of y'all. Y'all are awesome.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. It's a lot of fun. My husband says I have no fear.
Yep.
He's like, just go for it. I'm like, okay, here I go. There he is.
Very good man.
There's my bearded guy.
No, he's not pictured here, Lisa. What's going on here?
That's where I had just replaced his drive shaft in his Jeep. He told me what to do and I did the work.
Look at you.
Put in an Adams drive shaft. It was great. I loved it. I love working in the garage.
So, Katie, you sent me this picture. What happened? I feel like there's a story behind that picture.
There is. That was a great day.
Lisa was there for that on the other side. So we were at S'more and it was super duper muddy and slick. And there's this one hill on guardrail. It's one of the badge trails at S'more. And at that time I had open differentials, but also that third member that you were just looking at had about 185,000 miles on it with probably 30,000 miles of heavy wheeling. So I also had put larger tires on it, so it puts a lot more pressure on those gears, and went up this hill. And I had a driver error to a point because I had the gears a little too low. So I was in a lower, second gear where I should have been in a higher gear when it's muddy like that. And, I just sent it up a little too fast, but also I went into a rut. So in open differentials, when that tire came back down, it was spinning. And when it finally hit the ground, it stopped. And so the gear just did one of those things and chewed off all the teeth. And it sounded like a machine gun with metal in it.
It did. Yeah, it did.
I'm going to just start calling you Machine Gun Katie. I'm like,
I just thinking the same thing.
We totally should.
It was so bad because there were some good old boys that I talked to that are buddies of mine, and they were like, I've never seen a Toyota gear look like that. And I was like, don't know if that's a good thing, but thanks, I guess.
I'm trolling through my phone because I've actually got pictures from the top end of that.
You should hang it in the wall. Just like sit there in a little case.
That was a crazy day.
It was a 2-hour recovery.
And it was raining.
It was so muddy. And it started raining in the middle of it. We had to bring a Jeep down the other side and back it up the hill. And then they would winch me to the Jeep, winch the Jeep backwards, and then winch me up because I was basically dead in the water. So
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you've not done anything like that since then, though, right? Like, so you've learned.
No.
We both learned that day, and I watched.
It's all about learning.
I toned back my determination a little bit to say, determination is good, but not when you have a $6,000 repair. Well, I mean, it didn't have to be that much, but of course, if I'm going to redo it, I'm going to get air lockers and upgraded gear. So
yeah, might as well just sneak that in. It's like, if you got to go in for surgery, can you do a little nip and tuck while you're in there? Totally that way.
Right. Since you're there.
Exactly. Okay, so Lisa.
Yes.
With the Rebelle Rally.
Yes.
Did you think you would ever be doing this?
Not in a million years.
No. So tell us a little bit about this. So how did you get involved? How did this start?
Well, Katie should take the lead on that because she threw us into this barrel.
Well, and someone does want to know. Someone mentioned, let me see if I can find it a little further back. They said, "This is so awesome. Where is this Overland Rally?" So, Katie, I'm going to let you go ahead and take the wheel and just kind of talk a little bit about this.
Yeah, for sure. So, location-wise, the Rebelle Rally, it's a 2,500 kilometer trek, and they change it up every year, but generally it'll go through Utah, Nevada, California, so that you're hitting all the different types of terrain, and ends up close to the Mexico border in terms of location. But all this really came about because of my boyfriend, James. We have followed the rally for some time, and came downstairs one day. We were watching YouTube videos, and he said, "You should do this." And, I brushed it off, said no thing. And he said it again. 5 minutes later, that was decision made. It was going to happen. So I put out some feelers on my Facebook page saying, "Where's my lady wheelers at?" Just to get a feel. Cause you can't spend 10 days in the desert with anybody.
No.
In a high stress
Sometimes
situation.
not your spouse.
Right.
Ask me how I know.
Yeah.
Go mad. Back from New Mexico.
You guys do spend a lot of time together. So
I know we're going to do this full time in a few years. God help us all.
That's exciting.
It's going to be fantastic.
It's going to be great. One of us is going to come out alive.
Right.
So
be you, right? I'm definitely rooting for you. I feel like like I might be biased, but it's fine.
I'll be messaging, "Where's all my women wheelers?"
We'll be going over here.
Exactly. Okay, so you put that feeler out, and Lisa was just like, "Hi."
Lisa responded, and at first, I was just like, "Oh, hey, girl, miss you." And I did another one, and afterwards, I told her, I said, "I don't know why I didn't pick up on that initially. I think I was just too excited about it." So I told her I wanted to talk to her about something. I'm sure she was a little nervous about that statement because that's, always an awkward statement. But I talked to her at Frostbite, which is the season opener for the Kansas Rocks Park, and told her, and I hoped that she would be stoked. And she was just like, "Let's do it." So
I don't know a whole lot about it. Never heard of it before, but I'm in.
Yeah.
I told her a little bit about it, and she was just like, that sounds awesome. Like the experience of a lifetime and a challenge, not just, across your life, but for your skills, navigation skills, survival skills to a point. It's something. So
this isn't just
mental skills too, because it's a lot of
and emotional.
It's 8 days of 8 and 10, 12-hour days of go, think, and it's endurance, absolutely.
So you said it's navigation. Do you get to use apps? Like, tell me, what do they give you? Like, are you bringing your food? I'm going into this totally blind.
Yep. Our apps are called Paper and Pencil and Ruler. There is no apps. There is no GPS. There is no cell phones. We are completely off grid for the entire competition.
Okay.
Nothing allowed. They put a tracker on our vehicle so they know where we are at all times, or if we have an emergency that they can find us if we need it. It's also our check-in for our checkpoints that we have. And
is it a speed race? Like, are you trying to be the first person to get to the end goal? Because you said it makes a loop. So
no, it's not about speed. It's about navigation skills.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah. There's some days it will be a timed. So we'll have to be very careful with our odometer readings. And they'll give us checkpoints that we have to hit at certain speeds at certain times. So it's about navigation.
So which one of you brave souls is taking over the navigation piece?
That would be me. That would be me.
Wow.
I can read a topographical map, but I've got a lot of learning to do. I've already visited with an orientarian at the conservation department. So I'm going to be meeting with him after deer season is over. So after the holidays, I'll be getting with him. And
priorities.
Yeah. So a lot of online classes. And
I was about to say, where do you start? Do they send you the material to help you start taking in any studying?
I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos. I've been reading books, you name it.
Yeah.
So what happened?
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, once you register, they do give you access to a portal that has competitor-specific tips and previous routes and road books, because there are enduro portions as well, to where it's not just necessarily mapping checkpoints and wayfinding. They also give you a road book. So if you're not familiar with those, it basically gives you a turn by turn, but it doesn't tell you necessarily like street names because there's not streets.
Right.
So
it will give you
landmarks, tulips. It'll give you miles or degrees
kilometers.
Kilometers for this that you have to figure out. So it's a mixture of both. But then there's also the technical aspect in terms of wheeling, to where you don't necessarily have to do the obstacle. You can always walk up the hill for teams that their vehicle may not be capable, or they're not comfortable with it. But for time's sake, you want to be able to do that, because even though it's not a race, there's still a set amount of time that the course should take. And also checkpoints only open for certain amounts of time. So checkpoint 2 might open immediately, but it's only open for 2 hours. And then
you got to get there about 2 hours.
Checkpoint 10 only opens at hour 5, but then it closes at hour 6. So you only have an hour window to get there. So they definitely challenge you across all aspects of that, to where they don't want everybody racing and speeding. But at the same time, whoever's closest to those time frames is the one who's ultimately gonna.
It gives you that last leg up.
Yeah.
So what happens if you don't make one of the checkpoints? Are you just out?
No, you just don't get the points.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So does everybody win at the end of this thing? Like what's the end goal?
Like, most points wins.
Most points wins and bragging rights.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it bragging rights? Is it like, what do you get for, to know that? Because I already feel like I'm in the presence of greatness. So I don't know.
When you find them, let me know.
My husband's like, yeah, I know. I've been here.
We're just two people that have a good time wheeling together and get along great. I mean, we're not,
So amazing. If you win, each competitor gets $5,000 off next year's entry.
Right.
Entry just to actually get in and get a spot is about $13,000. And then there's probably another additional $5,000 to $7,000 that you need to have for technical equipment, inspection fees, getting there, transporting your vehicle.
Yeah, fuel's a lot.
All that jazz, the media coverage, things like that. So it's a big undertaking, but luckily we've been able to bring on some really great sponsors and I mean, just huge support from our local community in terms of Wheeling and just the Kansas City area that have supported us right out of the gate. So
absolutely.
That's amazing. So you get sponsors. I know you just got back from SEMA, right? So you did go to SEMA. Real quick, Lee wanted to ask, so kind of like an off-road mini Great American Race type of thing.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the only women's only off-road competition in the United States.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And people come from different countries. They've been there from New Zealand, from Canada to Europe.
Do you know how many teams there are going into this?
Usually 50 to
50. Okay.
Yeah. Yep. They cap it at 50. And this year they're already sold out. So they're taking wait list now, but 50 teams, and registration for 2022 started the day or week after this year's race. So between October 15th and now it's already sold out.
Yeah.
Or booked.
Yeah.
So we're team number 103.
104.
Or 104, sorry.
Yeah, 104.
I don't even know our team number.
4.
104.
It's okay. Misnavigation.
I just write the check out of the bank account. Okay.
4.
4 is actually my favorite number, just in case that's a random comment that you wanted to have. So what all did you learn at SEMA?
It was great. I got to hang out with my buddy Mitch, who was lucky enough. He got hooked up with the Great American Crawl last year, and he was on the Rockstar Garage team, and was able to represent Mickey Thompson. So he showed me around, introduced me to some awesome people. And there was a lot of Broncos there. Lots of Broncos. There was. Yes. I mean, there was a lot of really cool ones. But by the end of the show, you're just like, okay, I get it. Broncos.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's because it's a new thing. Everybody's got to,
yeah,
I get it.
It is. There was a Bronco that had electric paint. What? So it's like 50 coats of paint, and they wire in circuits into the paint so that they can use a remote. And it was really cool.
Apparently that thing is never going to go through the Ozark water crossings.
No.
Like it would just fry.
No, I think it was like a $25,000 or $30,000 paint job.
It was a mall crawler. It was a mall crawler.
If you had a show car though, or like a sports car,
I
would totally do it.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. But I really enjoyed the Toyota booth. They had a Tacozilla. So it was a concept of a Tacoma that they stock built a camper on the back of.
Yeah.
And it was super cool. So I enjoyed that. But there's always just such cool cars there. And we got the chance to talk with Ryan from Dometic, who's going to be sponsoring us for the Rebelle, which is really exciting. And
that's
then
way awesome.
We have been lucky enough to have a little bit of a competition between General Tire, Mickey Thompson, and BF Goodrich between who's going to be our tire sponsor. So just really lucky there.
And it's exciting.
All through people that we've met on the trails. Awesome. So it wasn't anything special that we did. We just met people, connected with them, and here we are.
Yeah, it's all about getting your name out there and getting to meet people for sure. That's one thing that we've learned, even doing what we do, you know, with Matt being full-time, it's all about, you know, the network. Matt actually asked, and so did Nathan a little bit further down, but is it just one vehicle or do you have multiple rigs on your team? And we know that you both drive. Mm-hmm. So which vehicle is going to be going to the rally?
Katie.
My 2005 4Runner. So it's pretty heavily built out. The only thing I'm waiting on now, as you can see, is a rear bumper.
Right. There you go.
And, it is, you know, hopefully in the mail soon, but it's got re-geared 456, front and rear air lockers, full skids, sliders, bumper, snorkel. It's had framework done. Inside, we have some additional features that are going to help. So we'll be sponsored by Goose Gear. So they're hooking us up with some storage in the back. And then it'll also have a full dual battery solar setup from Red Arc, who is our newest sponsor. And then also from Anti-Gravity Batteries, who will be hooking us up with a lithium deep cycle battery. So we can really be completely self-sufficient with what we need. So
because we will need to be self-sufficient.
Yeah. So that's the other thing I was going to ask. So what happens when you break down? Is there a mechanic? Do you have a mechanic on it? Like, is it like, I'm imagining like an Indiana race car, like where you stop at a pit stop and it's like, you know, and you're gone.
Mm-hmm. We are the mechanics.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So if you have to use a mechanic during the day, during race time, it will cost you points. Mm-hmm. So you want to try and use your knowledge to at least limp to where you need to go so you don't lose any additional points. And then they do have mechanics on standby for when you get back, and every team gets a set amount of time. I think it's like an hour or 2 hours when you get back to where they can help you, but you have to provide the parts. Mm-hmm. So
are you going to be taking axles and everything else to this place?
CV axles. I have a spare transfer case, a spare actuator, drive shaft. We'll have belts, fluids. We'll carry the belts and fluids with us, though, because that's easy enough to change out there.
Wheels, tire.
Ratchet straps. We'll have lots of ratchet straps so that if we have to, we can limp to the next spot. But ideally, you don't want to use a mechanic until you have to. But then they have a full tool setup. So if you're able to do the work yourselves, then you can work on that as well in the evening.
Gotcha. Yep. That's amazing. That's totally amazing. So which one of y'all are going to be the mechanic?
It'll be both of us. I mean, it's her vehicle, but she'll tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Yeah.
Because that's just how it is.
Pretty much the only thing that I would not be able to solve probably through trial and error would be transmission and severe engine issues and or severe fuel issues. But in that case, we could hand it off to the mechanics, and if they can't fix it, then we're out.
Gotcha. So you also have to take like your food and your clothes, and you have to prepare for like different weather and tent. Yep. So are you going to have a roof? Do you have a rooftop tent on the top? I didn't even. Okay. So what?
No. And even if we did, you have to impound your vehicle at the end of the day. So you wouldn't be able to sleep in it.
Use it. Nope.
So ground tents each day.
Yes.
And they do provide dinner, have showers, all of that, because it's not a, it's not a survival competition. So there is some nice necessity that I will very much appreciate, having a shower.
Yeah.
It's a rolling base camp, so there'll be showers when available. They'll have the food will be prepared. There'll be tables to sit at where we can work.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Is family gonna be coming with you, or are you gonna? Because I know before when we were discussing off the live show that you can follow along through the Rebelle Rally. Like we can track your progress.
Mm-hmm.
Or at the end of the day, you can see what checkpoint you went through. But if you want to follow closer, you could, possibly do that as far as monetization. Oh, well, I hope we didn't lose Katie. Oh, there she is. So anyways, are you're going to just have family track you and you're going to go out, you and her, and just do it alone?
Yeah, we will not have any contact with anybody during the competition except those in the competition. They'll just have to follow along and pray for us and send us well wishes. Brainwave.
That's got to be kind of emotional out there. I know I would be a little bit of emotional, because it's you're literally out there by yourself. Like Michael, he was wanting to know, like me, do you have a chase truck? Do you have a support crew? You have to do it with what you have.
Nope. We will have the satellite tracker that they put on the vehicle, and that's the only way anybody will know where we are.
The only support you can get really is from other teams, and that's really only recovery based. So if you get so stuck you need assistance, they can help you, but they can't help you with any navigation or anything like that. And they do have crews out there at checkpoints sometimes to help with any immediate updates if something's changed. For instance, this past year they had a really bad sandstorm. So that was something that I'm sure they had some updates that they got from some of the crew at checkpoints, mostly just for safety reasons. But that's few and far between, because that's part of the challenge is being able to handle that.
Yeah. To be able to be very fluid, you have to be able to adjust and
constantly fluid.
Yeah. So, Joey, with Adventures of the Professor, how long does it last?
The actual competition is 10 days, but it's 9 days of off-road, because the last day is kind of a party day, a reward day.
Heck yeah, y'all better be partying.
We get to take showers and put on nice clothes and take pictures and have fun and cheer on each other, and it's just
have an awards gala.
Yes. I was going to say, you're going to accept your award, right?
Right.
Have a much deserved drink.
Yeah.
Yes.
So also Troy, he wanted to know, what ground tent do you like? What are y'all planning on taking? Have y'all decided?
We'll be
There's a couple I'm looking at.
We'll be actually, Lisa, I haven't told you this yet, but we'll be taking a Gazelle. Gazelle tents. So we'll be rocking those, which is fantastic because I have tested that out thoroughly, especially at Rendezvous this past year with all the rain. Not a drop of water in the tent that didn't come off the bottom of my shoes. So
that's awesome.
That's really exciting. Gazelle tents will be taking care of us. So
that's awesome. So he also has another question. What makes the Mavens so wild? I mean,
I don't know if you want to know that.
That's between us. That's between us.
That's in the private chat, Joey.
Our wheeling skills. There we go. We like to wheel.
Yes.
As hard as the vehicle will allow us. So
and we just connect.
Yeah.
We connect. And I'm going to point out that at the competition, you will be what? 32, 33? And I'll be 50.
I'll be 32.
32, and that will be just after my 58th birthday.
Oh, girl.
Yes, girl.
So I am older than her mother.
That's amazing. It's like a mom and daughter crew.
I know. So yeah, I'm just going to take it like a boss.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how fast have y'all done? Someone asked, have y'all practiced how fast y'all can change out a blown out tire? How fast y'all can, have y'all done any like speed drills or anything as far as practicing for the failure of vehicle? I mean, I know you just rolled yours, so hopefully you don't have to practice
it's really
the recovery.
not about speed, but
yeah.
Not speed, but I think we've changed enough tires.
Yeah.
I don't think we've really focused on much of that technical piece because we've wheeled so much on the trails already and been in so many of those situations that
we carry our own tools. We know how to use our tools.
That's always
I mean, I work on my vehicle more than anybody. I've changed my oil in like 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've done, the only thing I haven't done to my Jeep that's on my Jeep is put the lift kit on my Jeep. And my husband and some other guys did that.
Yeah. But I mean, that's kind of like me and Matt. We pretty much, I'll get under there with Matt. Matt usually does most of it, but like I could make it, Yeah. Joey wants to know, so at the end of the Rebelle Rally, what do you win? Obviously you have amazing bragging rights. It's a huge, huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
$5,000 off of next year's entry fee. Prizes. We got a great goodie bag.
Yeah.
We should be getting honestly, our
just
jackets.
Knowing that I won that thing would be.
Yeah.
I mean,
out of 50 other groups.
Once a year. And the only female competition only in the United States.
Yeah. You better believe Long Creek Overland better make you like a shirt if y'all win. And we all going to be repping that.
Well, we've got our t-shirts on already.
I was going to say, they've hooked us up. And he's also making us jerseys for the race. So once we get all of our sponsors officially locked down, he'll be making us some custom jerseys that we'll be able to wear out in the sand and sun and keep our skin safe and all that while still repping everything that we have. So that's going to be super exciting. But another piece that sometimes gets overlooked as a perk of winning, and not necessarily as fully winning. My dogs are freaking out, but
okay, we love our four-legged babies.
Right? Yeah, they're good dogs. Is that a lot of times either women who have won the race or gotten Rookie of the Year, competed really well, just had a really good run, have gotten asked to go do international races, Africa, Australia, picked up by teams that are looking for people to go and run those rallies. And they're not necessarily just women's only rallies. Like this one is, because this one has a specific purpose to encourage women to get more active in the off-road community. But being able to have that opportunity to go international is huge. It's changed a lot of people's lives that are looking to get into the off-road community full time.
Yeah. I know that would change my life for sure. Yeah.
Right here, baby.
For sure.
Yes, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah. Leona wants to know, what are you doing to mentally and physically prepare yourself? That's a thing.
I work on that every day. And every time something gets a little hard, I'm like, do it, push through. I mean, everything as far as opening a jar, just, that's hard. I don't care. Keep going, picking something up. Yeah, that's heavy. So what? Keep going. Just every day is just every time I can is what I'm doing.
Ditto.
Preparing myself.
And mine's more physical. I work a marketing job, 9 to 5, have my own company and work for an overlanding company on the side. So I do a lot of sitting in front of computers, and that's just not it's not just promoting health in general. And so just really trying to make sure that I'm going to be in peak physical condition so that that's not a factor.
That's very important.
Yeah. Cause I mean, just like if we get stuck in the sand trying to dig ourselves out, digging ourselves something to winch off of, if we have to do that on top of already being on 4 days of 10-hour driving days with very little sleep, stress, things like that. Being able to handle that is gonna be big. So that's been my main focus, is the physical side.
And I think something that makes us connect too is we can yell at each other just flat out and be, okay, done, move on.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're going to have to do. That's what we're going to have to do. There'll be situations that we're just like, I am so done, to get away from me. And it's like, you can't. We are in this together. We just have to work through it and move forward. And
is there any apprehension of that? I mean, I'm not a conflict person, so I don't know that I would probably just, like, you would just yell at me and I would cry and then we'd be good.
That'd be it.
That'd be it. So, because even though we say we yell at each other, it's not even really full on yelling. It's like just directness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Being direct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We mesh.
Yeah.
We're done.
Yeah.
Peas and carrots, peanut butter jelly.
So where do y'all like to normally wheel? So do you like to, I know you're going to S'more, which I've never been to S'more, but like, and you're in Kansas, so jealous. Where do you normally go?
Our home park is K-Rocks.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kansas Rocks Park is only an hour and 15 minutes away.
Is it like S'more?
It's smaller, and it's a nonprofit park, whereas S'more is a for-profit park. So differences there is that they have the capital to be able to maintain their trails differently, whereas K-Rocks relies on local clubs and government grants to be able to keep up. So it's a very real thing, especially with natural springs and all that pops up. It's amazing how much work goes into it. And I volunteer for them on their board. So they've been really great to us. They're actually
they have.
One of our premier sponsors. And for a premier sponsorship, that's a big chunk of change to support us. So they
wholeheartedly appreciate them. They're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
They're amazing.
So it's a great group of people, and they're all volunteers. They're just wheelers who wanted to have a park nearby and keep it going. So they're always looking for more help and people to help support them. So
everybody go to K-Rocks.
That's right.
Yep. Everybody go to K-Rocks.
Absolutely. Mapleton, Kansas.
Kansas.
It's a good park.
It is.
S'more is good. Park. Another place that we frequent is obviously the Ozarks, Arkansas. More of those trails that are not mapped. And then also Oklahoma. There's a place down there in Disney, Oklahoma, that's pretty popular.
Yeah. We wanted to go to that one. We haven't went to that one either.
I was just in Hot Springs last month in Arkansas, and that was great.
We love
Hot Springs is really nice.
I love Hot Springs.
Yeah. That's where we go to like test out all of our, like when we first bought our vehicles, we took them there because that's where you learn, like how to drive your vehicle and how it works. And because it's totally different when you're driving like Matt got the truck. And so, and then having no more disconnects. So I'm having to learn all of that. So yeah, I totally understand that. So speaking of, as far as sponsors and all of that goes, you said it's $13,000 just to sign up.
Mm-hmm.
Where does your sponsorship lie at this point? I know you said you have multiple people that are providing you tires, but what does it look like going into this? Because you have to, when is the deadline? What's all that? Let's get to the nitty gritty.
They have a couple different options, which is great. They have payment plans they set up for you based on, their timeline. You have a deposit and then a first payment you have to make. So we're locked in because we made our first payment of $3,500 to them. And now we've got about $5,000 in the bank. So really, ideally, we'd be looking to get about another $5,000 to $7,000 in actual cash. We've had an outstanding amount of support when it comes to outfitting. And COVID has definitely had a portion of that, because so many of the businesses are either backed up or swamped. They don't have the ability to just donate cash, whereas they're more able to donate product. But we have a couple more sponsors that we're looking to talk to in terms of the cash side that are really interested. And then something else that we're working on, we've been lucky enough to get sponsored by Boulevard Brewing. And they aren't able to donate cash or anything like that, but they're going to donate some booze. So working on something with Chris Holloway from the More Expo. I'm sure lots of people are familiar with that. And also Big Iron Overland Rally. And we're going to be putting together some sort of event. We're thinking concert or something that will also benefit our local veterans. So thinking there's a couple of different groups we'd like to be involved with, including the VFW that we're part of. James and I are part of. And helping to raise the last bit of money that we need, but also then give the rest of the funds to that organization to help support them as well. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. I have someone real quick that's wanting to jump in, so I'm going to hand it over to him.
Hi, Matt.
Hey. How are y'all?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Good. I'm just loving your hair. I'm just going to tell you. I love your hair.
And it looks just as fabulous on the trails as it does right now. And it
it does
a little bit, but it's fine.
It's because he got an electric scooter, and so he's been riding up and down our road like 40 miles an hour on this electric scooter. He's gonna die. I'm pretty sure.
That's fun. That's gonna be fun.
That's why his hair is always like that.
Fun. It is a lot of fun.
I need pictures.
Yeah. Oh, there'll be a YouTube video on the scooter soon. So it's a whole lot of fun.
Nice.
But Karen and I were talking about this on the way back from our trip that we just got back from New Mexico, and love you two. Had such a blast with you guys at S'more earlier this year, and can't wait to wheel with you guys again, and totally support you guys doing this Rebelle Rally, and think you guys are going to kill it.
Thank you.
And anyway, we want to support y'all. And so we are going to give y'all $500 to go toward y'all's fees and stuff.
Thank you.
So we wanted to be able to do that for you and help make that happen. So we think you guys are awesome.
Huge.
That's oh my gosh, thank you so much.
I know cash is where it's hard, and I've been trying to figure out how we could better support, because that's, you know, me and Matt, we're all in this together. So that's what we've said, you know, ever since we started this. So we've always want to encourage each other.
Absolutely.
So anyways, that's from our heart to y'all. So
thank you
so much.
Thank you.
And you guys, even just having us on here is huge for us, and is going to help so much.
Very thankful.
So thank you so much. And
well, you're very welcome. Well, I think you guys are very special. So
thank you.
Yeah. So next year, whenever you're putting out feelers, because you won this year and you get a rebate.
Oh my God.
Let me know.
Well, set the bar a little high.
Okay, bye. Yeah. Love you. Bye.
Job.
I know. It's like, phew.
Thanks for the cash. Bye.
Yeah. You brought your wallet? Okay, goodbye.
Nice.
Thank you so much.
I really appreciate it.
You know,
I really do.
It adds up, and no, it's not going to be the 5,000, but I just wanted you to know that we support y'all so much, your heart behind this. And honestly, Lisa, just knowing that you're going to be 58, like that's girl. I mean,
know, right?
And then we have Katie over here who's like flipping her vehicle and talking about how it drives up its like y'all are amazing, amazing women. And I think y'all do not even realize the impact that you're making in this community, at least as far as locally. So
we try.
I would say that's the least we can hope for, is to help women realize that it's empowering. It's a little dirty, a little nasty. Sometimes, you gotta have a little bit of grit when it comes to things, but overall it's more rewarding.
So y'all are head into this. So what do you suggest to the women that are a little bit not certain of themselves and are, not too great? So they're just scared, so what do you suggest? And even I've had several men on here, like, how do I get my wife to be more, into this, because he loves it? So what do y'all suggest?
You gonna take that, Lisa?
Oh, yeah.
Let's leave it to Mama Lisa.
Right. No, my husband retired 33 years of fire service and wanted his own Jeep again. So I'm like, I don't care. We're going to do whatever you want. Let's get it. So we were riding around and I'm like, and then I'm like, maybe I want to do this myself, because I'm kind of freaking out here, but this is fun.
Yeah.
So.
And it's totally different driving. I'll say that right now.
Completely.
Yeah.
Fast forward a year later, I'm buying my own. And then, which, by the way, is the only first time I bought my own vehicle on my own. The whole dealership talk and everything.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to take it off-roading. I just want a Jeep. And then I'm like, well, maybe. Mm-hmm. And now I'm out doing blacks and I'm driving Black Bear and I'm all in, and I'm loving it. And I mean, it is a game changer for your mental stability, so to speak, if you want to call it that. I mean, the empowerment that it gives you is just amazing. And the adrenaline rush, like you said, Katie, is just like crazy awesome. Mm-hmm. But you just got to conquer your fear and start somewhere. You just got to start easy and go in. Yeah. And just gaining that momentum and confidence and just keep trying. I mean, we all make mistakes. We still constantly learn.
Oh, yeah.
Constantly. I mean, people that's been in this for years, their whole life, learn something new every day. So, would you agree?
I think that's great. A great message. Just, get in there, learn, make mistakes. I mean, that's what you're still learning, even in those mistakes that you make.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
So, and I think baby the steps. Other piece to tag on there is it continues to make you grow. So there's never a cap. Right. I pushed my 4Runner as far as it would go. And that's when I decided that the next level was the Truggy. And going from an automatic to a manual.
I love the Truggy so much.
It's so much fun. It's so hard to drive. It's easy to drive, but at the same time, the manual piece is.
Where did you even get that thing?
So one of the guys that I was on the board with at Kansas Rocks, he built it out over the past 10 years. And I always told him that if he ever sold it, he needed to call me. And his wife wasn't big into wheeling, so he decided to sell it, and he called me, and 2 days later it was mine.
Nice.
But he also gave me a rockin' deal on it. Like, I would have been an absolute idiot not to take him up on that. So from there, now I'm to the point where I've been wheeling it since May, probably 26 to 30 times in the seat since then. And now I'm starting to plan out where I want to build it out to. So going up to coilovers and beefing it up even more, going from 36 to 40s, all the things that go into that. So all in all, it grows with you. It pushes you to keep pushing yourself. And wheeling had me start my own business. It's brought me a second job that potentially could be my full-time career within a year or two. So wheeling's done a lot for me, and I know it's done a lot for Lisa too. And it's just
it's therapy.
The people it's brought into my life is just so amazing. I've made fantastic people that are my family. They're family to me. I trust them. We trust them with you trust them with your life when you're out there, because you're watching your spotter and you're totally dependent on them.
Yeah. And I would say with Thanksgiving coming up, sometimes these people are closer than family, because I mean, you're spending out in the woods. You don't have cell phone service, because half the time, all the kids and everybody around is hooked to their devices or watching TV, or, they're not engaged with each other. And this, like you said, kind of forces you to be in that situation to where you're fully dependent on somebody, and it's just one big teamwork. I love that.
And it brings you back to nature too.
That's just where I was going to go.
I was going to say, people love to harp on tree huggers, but I swear to God, wheelers are some of the biggest tree huggers I know.
Yeah.
If they're true wheelers at heart.
Sometimes they hug them a little too close with like some mirrors and.
Well, or to watch a bunch of ants carry a Cheeto up the side of a tree for like a half an hour or an hour.
That's right. We did.
And you cheer them on too. You're like,
yeah, it was totally cool.
It was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
I'm sitting there because when we were down there for our event with Long Creek, I was sitting there on the phone with my husband. I'm like, there's a bunch of ants taking a Cheeto up a tree.
Yeah, like 27.
And I'm like, come here, look at this. Look at this.
Yeah. Humans can learn a lot from that,
Totally.
Little things like that help bring you back out of the day-to-day and all the city and all the work and the stress and all that stuff, just to be around the people you love and make new friends and just take a step back, chill.
Yeah. Are you concerned? Do you have any concerns at all, Katie, with the vehicle? Like because since this is your vehicle, it's not like you're taking the Truggy. So
no, really, one thing with the 4Runner, we built it out over the course of 5 years because we wanted to put the best parts and pieces into it. So, every piece that I've put into it has been thoroughly researched, and, specifically like the gearing and everything that's underneath that people can't see. That a lot of people that are newer don't necessarily care about. So that's why now we're looking for sponsors, because I'm like, I got to have all the cool stuff to draw people in, like the fancy bumper and the fancy things. But really the core of the vehicle is solid. And we have a very regimented process for taking care of it. So, everything down to rotating and alignments and, oil changes excessively, fluids, seals, all that is very important. So I feel really good about it.
That's awesome.
Going into it.
Yep. That's so cool. I would be a little scared just because there's just, there's always the unknown that you don't know, that, that you try to plan for it, but you just don't know. And then you've got to drive that home at the end of the day. So that's what, every trip I'm just like, that's the end of the thing is you got to drive it home.
Yeah. Not like you'd have to have a trailer and a truck to pull it with yet.
Right. Not yet.
Yet is the key word.
I've had a few friends come pick us up from places far away. AAA is the way to go. I have pretty much over the past few years to use all of my free tows that come with your, particular package that you have. So, they're handy.
Give them a call.
Yeah.
So where can people go? Obviously I have wildmavens.com scrolling across the bottom line. But is that where the one-stop shop where people can contribute to you guys? Like obviously Long Creek, I don't know if that goes, I don't know how that works. So what can they do if they want to get behind you?
Yeah. So wildmavens.com has t-shirts, but it also has a link to a GoFundMe account that we set up just so people would have an option to donate right away. And then for anyone that was looking to do something a little bit more in terms of a larger sponsorship, getting onto our vehicle wrap, our jerseys, all of that, they can reach out to us. But also the sponsorship deck that has those different tiers on there is on the website as well. So Good place to start, but they can reach out to us as well through
our
their
emails on there, our Instagram, our Facebook page.
I was about to say, would they would reach out through those avenues?
Yep. And then coming up also, we'll be doing quite a few giveaways thanks to a couple of our sponsors like Midland, Overland Essentials. So those will be coming out as well to give away some fun free stuff just to help build our page and build up traction for their businesses as well.
And you can see those giveaways on, I'm assuming, Facebook
and Instagram. They'll be on both.
Okay. So just make sure y'all go and get all the notifications that y'all post.
Right.
Well, ladies, it's been so good chatting with y'all. Again, y'all are super inspiring to me because without an app with Gaia and my husband as the app,
Right.
I don't know that I could do that. I think that I would want to do this so much so that I would make myself learn, but
that's what I'm doing. I'm making myself learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. My new mantra is think like a map.
Yeah.
Everything I look at, I have to think like a map.
Yeah.
Whether I'm driving down the road, looking across the terrain, whatever, I'm thinking like a map.
See, and I'm more like, let's turn left by Walmart. That's how. You know?
If I make 3 rights, I'll get back where I was.
Yeah.
I'm practicing from miles to kilometers with my button on my steering wheel because I'm like, okay, so I'm at 70, so that should be 120. Click. Hey,
what
that's
makes
close.
Them do kilometers?
I'm sorry.
What makes them choose kilometers over miles?
It's about the reading the maps because it's easier to gauge it in centimeters than it is inches.
Okay. Gotcha. Just to throw that one little thing in.
Yep. Yep. And of course, in the United States where we don't fluidly use the metric system, and that's what we're going to do. Yeah. Just to step up the challenge a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which makes it even better.
And this is all women from the U.S., right?
Well, there's some from international New Zealand and Europe.
Okay, so those people will have a little bit of a leg up for the people that do the kilometers.
Right.
A little bit.
Right.
I see. But that's okay. Y'all are better wheelers than them.
Right.
So.
We're trying. We're trying.
Oh, you guys.
Y'all stop buttering us up, girl.
Right.
Y'all
now
are
I'll go down to
amazing.
S'more this weekend and roll mine because I can.
Oh,
don't do that.
No, I'm not.
Don't do that. You don't have the trudgy.
No, I gotta drive it home just like everybody else.
For reals though, call me if you need it.
Yeah.
Trust me, I got your number.
Dial a friend.
We got a trailer.
Yeah.
Well, thank y'all so much for coming on, everybody. I hope y'all learned some amazing things about these amazing women. Stick with us next week. You'll be able to get some more feedback. But it was so nice having y'all.
Thanks you for having us.
Really appreciate you. And thank you so much for your support.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you for the donation. We love you guys.
Yeah, we love y'all too. All right.
Thank you.
We'll talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Bye.